Ducati is not a company you would typically associate with motocross and off-road racing, but as of right now, it really should be. Haven't said a word. That's how you know when Chris is out of his comfort zone. It's an age-old thing for road bike people, myself included. I class myself fully as, first and foremost, a tarmac human. But you think, 450 motocross bike, that's only a 450 single. It's got less power than an SV650. Oh my goodness, it is not a slow bike. A 450 motocross bike is an incredibly fast thing, and to hold on to one around this rough, technical Golden Barn Raceway is something else. This DESMO450 is rapid. What a buzz. Ducati's built a motocross bike. It's awesome. Obviously this video is not something I ever expected to make. The fact that we're here at a motocross track feels as far removed from superbikes and Panigales and MotoGP as you could possibly get. But I'll talk more about it later, about Ducati's motivation for getting into this category. But they've come at it, they've started by building a bike, going racing. They've raced it for a good while now, and now they've released a production version to the public. It's a big change and a big new area for Ducati to step into. I'm not going to stand here today and do you a which motocross bike is best video. It's not my place, and it's kind of not what we're here for. We wanted to see if Ducati really has built something that is on a par with other motocross bikes, and something that's as special as we've come to expect from bikes from that brand. They don't do cheap bikes, they don't do particularly basic bikes. Their whole thing is a premium brand, so it's interesting to see what that's going to mean for motocross world, and over the next few years how well that succeeds. But for now, I've just got off from my first few laps. We've been using the Barry Johnson Ducati Motocross Experience bikes, so they've got throttle restrictors and a few things to help complete novices off-road get their feet and learn to ride this sort of terrain, and so far so good. Bike works well. The stuff Barry's done to the bikes to make them easy to get on and ride is really effective, and yeah, looking forward to trying the full power and the full track later on today. Right, whoa, mode 2. Let's try mode 2. So mode 2 is the dynamic mode, a little bit more aggressive. All the modes are tunable if you've got the app. Still building up to these jumps. It's quite intimidating. But here's the thing about motocross, if you've not considered it before, it looks cool as heck, it looks very intimidating, but there are practice days all around the country, and if you ignore the motocross racing scene for now and concentrate on the sort of track day scene of the motocross world, you can get on in the novice group, get yourself a bike, stick it on a trailer or in a van, and spend your Sundays getting fit, improving your bike skill, and hanging out with your mates. Is a very social scene at a motocross track day, or practice day as they're called in motocross world. It is a fab sport. It gives you so much skill for road bikes, gets you used to the bike sliding around, and unlike enduro where you're off in the woods for hours at a time, motocross is based out of a paddock. You can learn a track, improve your skills, and have some fun. You don't have to be doing 40-foot tabletops and massive bum whips everywhere. You can just enjoy it. And in the UK, lots of our practice tracks are built pretty safe. They're not full of big sharp lips and horrible jumps. It's about learning your bike control and improving that stuff. And in terms of fitness, road riding doesn't come anywhere close. And with Triumph and Ducati coming and joining the party, you can see that motocross is looking to be an area manufacturers are excited by, and who doesn't want to be a part of that excitement? And on top of all of that, the kit and the bikes look cool. And let's be honest, we all love that. As much as we can pretend we're not image conscious. Feeling and looking cool is a good part of motorbikes. When you think about it, there's not genuinely a lot of new or unique technology anywhere in the world of motorcycles now. Every manufacturer will try and tell you that their version of cornering ABS is better because blah blah blah, or their version of a unique connectivity app is excellent because of blah blah blah. But ultimately, they're all quite similar. There are a few standout items in motorcycle technology that are hallmarks of certain manufacturers. And Ducati's case, it's the desmodromic valve system. Now you'll have seen Desmo written on the side of many Ducati things over the years. You might know what it means, you might not. In short, Desmo is how Ducati's engines open and shut their valves to let air and fuel into an engine and exhaust gases back out. Now most valves are opened by a thing from a camshaft and then a spring that shuts them again. The Desmo system uses a lever to open the valve and a lever to shut it. Why? It means you've got better control over the valves, which lets you ultimately rev the engine higher without it exploding in a big shower of expensive titanium things. Now Ducati's used that system for many, many years and to great success. And its advantage of giving more RPM capability to any engine is something they've turned now to this thing, a motocross bike. Now motocross bikes are a fairly well-developed area. If you're not a motocross person, you'll look at every single motocross bike and go, yep, they all look identical, they're just different colours. And there are differences. There are subtle tweaks and changes, the geometry, the architecture of the engines, how the manufacturers approach getting a bike to go around a track full of massive jumps really quickly. But one thing there's not in the market currently is a desmodromic valve system. Ducati is hoping to use this technology to gain an advantage over the rest of the motocross world by gaining more horsepower, more RPM, and an engine that can cope with a wider range of situations by having better control over its valves. Now, if you're a big old boring engineering nerd like I am sometimes, that's quite exciting. New technology that nobody else has got in a bike for racing and competition. And Ducati hasn't just built a bike and said, oh, we're gonna go racing. They've been racing it. The DESMO450 MX has been, in its prototype form, competing at national, international, and even the big leagues in America for the last season or so, and doing really well. And today, right now, these are the first production bikes from a production line delivered for public, well, journalists to test and ride and enjoy. This is Ducati's first proper toe in the water of a production competition motocross bike. Whether you're into off-road racing or not, that is properly exciting. So let's have a quick look at the numbers on this bike. As any of you know who've seen Bike World videos, I don't do a lot of reading out spec sheets, but the numbers for those uninitiated to motocross world are fairly typical so far. 63.5 horsepower and 104.8 kilos, I think it said in the press pack. So in the ballpark for motocross world. The price tag is a shade over 11 grand, which is on the strong end of the pricing system, but it's a Ducati. We kind of knew they were going to do that. And for your extra money, do get more technology. You get the desmodromic valve system, you get a map switch on the left-hand handlebar, along with a traction control switch, a launch control setting, and a quick shifter. And if you buy the £170 connectivity module, that gives you the ability to tune, tweak, adjust the settings on the traction control, engine braking, quick shifter, power delivery on your phone, send it to the bike, and ride it again in the next session. Ducati invited us down here today to Golding Barn motocross track to test the new bike. Now, when we say test the new bike, I'm not a motocross racer. I'm not going to ride this and then the Triumph and then the Yamaha, the Honda, the Suzuki and the Kawasaki and go, aha, yes, I noticed the slight flex in the headstock has made it faster around the middle of this turn. I'm going to do what I always do on a motocross bike, which is ride round and round in circles, screaming in my helmet, breathing heavily and trying to do big jumps and go, yee! For that, I'm very impressed with the DESMO450 MX. The track we're riding is actually a super tight, slippery, technical track with some awkward shaped jumps. It's used more as a practice and training track, and for that, it's actually quite hard work riding around here. Add to that a bike with a lot of horsepower, it was going to be a testing day. But once we got on track, I fiddled around with the modes, and we've actually got the guys from the Ducati Motocross Experience, Barry Johnson here, who's super experienced in training brand new to off-road through to experienced motocross racers. And they have a little setting on the bike, so they give you a half throttle, quarter throttle, and then let you use full power. which is a nice way to build up for new riders. Now, if you come from road bike world, if I told you I was riding a 450cc, 63.5 horsepower Ducati today, you'd probably look at me and shrug and go, that doesn't sound very hard. But these off-road horses aren't the same as road bike horses. They may look the same, but the off-road horses have knobbly hooves and somehow are way, way angrier than road bike horses. I don't know how that is, but when you get on a 63 horsepower motocross bike, it feels like a 230 horsepower Panigale. Genuinely, it is wild, aggressive and fast, and makes you wonder how something so small, so compact, is so damn angry. It's brilliant. I'm hoping a few of you have actually stayed tuned and not switched off the minute you saw the word motocross. Motocross is a weird little sport that seems separated from the rest of motorcycling. Us with our street fighters and our road bikes and our adventure bikes, we've seen motocross bikes, we know they exist, but they're sort of the cool kids over there. They've all got neck tattoos and backwards hats and bleached hair, and we're all a bit scared to go and talk to them. But I think it's about time motocross came in from behind the bike sheds, came back into the world of motorcycling, because it's awesome and it has so much to offer. Now, it's easy to look at the pros in motocross and think that's got no relevance to me whatsoever. You look at those guys doing their massive jumps and whips and railing around turns and you think, well, that doesn't look anything like my ride to work. But you've got to look at the entry-level end of it. Ducati's running a motocross experience designed for road bike people to come in and try motocross. And I don't mean ride up there, mate, hit that jump, good luck. I mean, learn the basics of body position, learn the basics of throttle control, learn how to ride one of these bikes safely around a motocross track and build up to the jump. And I think it's something that more people in road bike world should consider. Do you like riding motorbikes? I do. And if there's another type of motorbike to ride, guess what? I'm there and you should be too. Motocross is a strange sport to look at, but when you break it down into what you would actually be doing as a normal human being, it's kind of like track days for me. You pick a weekend, you pick one of the many, many practice tracks around the country, sling the bike on a rack on the back of your car or in a trailer or in your van, drive there with your mates and have a great day riding bikes, getting fitter because it is physical, and learning new skills. What's not to like? And if we're going to carry on with the track day analogy, a motocross practice day is 20, 30 quid. A motocross bike for the pimpest, nicest one is half the price of a Panigale or a super sports bike, and the cost on tyres, fuel and running them is nothing like the cost of track days. So if you're looking for something to add to your normal motorcycling, an experience, a thing to do with your mates on a regular occasion, like going to a track day, honestly, go to a motocross school, get to a Ducati motocross experience, learn the basics, and I think you'll be surprised. Those of you who have stayed this long and haven't just dismissed it because it's weird motocross stuff, do yourselves a favour, go and try it. It's something that I'm also guilty of. I look at motocross and I go, I'd love to be able to do that, and then I do nothing about it. So I'm sort of making a bit of a promise to myself here, and you lot can hold me accountable. I'm going to spend a bit more time doing this. I want to ride motocross bikes to a level I'm happy with. I want to be at a point where I'm enjoying practice days with my friends on a weekend, not feeling knackered after 3 laps and wishing I was better at it. And I think having that target in life, whatever your motorcycling is a really healthy thing. Now, the world might be on fire, the moon might land in the sun, all of the seas might boil, but if you've got a hobby that you're obsessed with in motorbikes, you won't even notice. You'll be so busy trying to find an extra half a second around your local track day, you'll be the happiest person in the world, because bikes are awesome and any excuse to do them more is a good thing.